How to build bee hotel and beehive. About 75% of all crops require pollination by some type of pollinator. Our pollinators are struggling. In the 2014-2015 season, Minnesota beekeepers lost more than 50% of their bee populations. Our pollinators are struggling because of disease, parasites, pesticides, and habitat. Honeybees and bees generally are often seen as a nuisance species. They get a bad name for stinging. In reality, they are very docile creatures, meaning that they are generally submissive and non-aggressive in nature. Bees will only sting when they feel like their life or home is being put in an immediate danger. But our honeybees and mason bees need our help for the sake of humanity and the ecosystem. So in this video today, we would like to show you how to build a bee hotel and beehive, so that anybody can preserve a variety of pollinators to ensure the stability of our ecosystem. So now let's go ahead and get started. So first off, we're going to start with pine wood, and we're going to cut it into 4 pieces. And the pine wood is going to be cut into 6 inches wide by 4 inches deep. And as Jessica's showing, she is cutting it into 4s using a saw. Next, we're going to use a router table with a router bit with a 5/16 diameter router bit to cut tunnel holes into the woods. We're going to cut 4 tunnel holes into each of the woods. Next, we're going to drill a hole on top of each of the 6x4 wood to put in place long screws to keep the bee hotel together. After stacking it together, all you need to do is put a roof on it and you have your finished product. In this part, we're going to show you how to clean a bee home. We're going to take off the screws and the wing nut and we're going to brush it off as John is demonstrating, each and every one of them. After that, we're going to reassemble it and then it's back for the bees. Next, we start with the beehive, and we're going to start with drilling finger joints into the deep hive body and the medium honey super. And next, we're going to glue and nail each of the finger joints for the deep hive body and the medium honey super. Next, we're going to clamp it to straighten everything out. Next, we're going to build frames for the deep hive body and the medium honey super. We're going to glue and nail each of the parts together, and lastly, when we assemble the frames, put in the deep hive body and the medium honey super. Right here is the queen excluder for the beehive, and the reason for putting in the queen excluder in the beehive is to separate the queen bee from laying eggs in the honey. And lastly, for this part, we're going to demonstrate how to assemble a beehive box. First, you have the bottom board. This is the first section of your layer of your box. The bottom board can either be solid or screen, and the bees will come and go from an entrance in the bottom board. And in front of the bottom board is the entrance reducer. It is a small piece of the wood that blocks off the part of the entrance of the bottom board. Entrance reducers help small colonies by preventing the entrance of large pests and rodents. The next piece is called the deep super. The deep super is a large box that the bees build their beehive into. A deep super is the largest section, and you will use 1 to 2 for a single beehive. Each deep super comes with either 8 or 10 frames. The frames hold foundation, which is the wax and wire base that the bees use to start their own wax building. Next is the queen excluder, and it should go on the top of the deep super. On top of the queen super is the honey super, and is like the deep super, which is where the bees will store their honey. An 8 to 10 medium-sized frame will be placed into it. On top of that is another inner cover that is the final layer of the beehive. It's a type of lid with an entrance that is placed over a honey super. And lastly is the outer cover. This is a metal lid that is used to keep adverse weather conditions from interfering with your beehive. This is the lid that tops off the box over the top of the inner cover. And that's how you assemble a beehive.